segue. Speaking of revenge, we want to talk about
Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan. Logan, the movie, is on the horizon. It comes out next week at the time of this filming, and the source material is what we really want to get into today.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to unpack the source material of Old Man Logan to kind of prep you, give you your required reading for what the differences and the similarities are between the plot of Logan and the comic book Old Man Logan.
Yep, to know what to expect going into Logan. I mean, there's certain foundations in the movie that will take the inspiration from the comics, but by no means are they going to be the same. It would not be possible to make just a purely R-rated movie off the source material Logan. It can't happen.
Right. Old Man Logan, of course, was published in 2003, written by Mark Miller. It's a story set, just a quick synopsis, 50 years in the future when most of the superheroes are dead. This is where... But that one sentence synopsis is basically where the plot similarities seemingly end, because from what we've seen from the trailers, a lot of that is going to change.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So to kind of step through the plot of Old Man Logan, let's just get through the plot first. Do you want to
absolutely
go through it?
So this is a what-if alternate future where 50 years down the road, Logan is living a quaint life with his family, wife, and 2 kids on a ranch in Sacramento. And this world has essentially gone to shit. Superheroes are dead. Supervillains rule the day. Everyone has their own territory. Wolverine is trying to live a simple, quiet life with his family, has vowed never to be violent again for reasons that are later opened up in the comic. And unfortunately, he owes rent every month to the Hulk gang. And this is one of those bits that you're not going to see pop up in the movie. These inbred hillbilly gamma-powered fucks are... they're spawned by Hulk getting it on with She-Hulk. That's right.
That's his first cousin, right?
That's his first cousin.
Yeah.
And he claims later on in the book that she was the only one that could take it from him at the time, so it made sense.
So you got Game of Thrones level intrigue.
That's exactly what I thought when I first, So it goes from there. Logan's not able to pay the rent for the month, so he takes an ass beating from the Hulk kids, and he soaks up his pride, doesn't pop out his claws, anything. And he's desperate for money, so out of the blue, an old friend and basically completely blind Hawkeye who's suffering from severe glaucoma pops in and is like, "Hey, Logan, I got a job for you. We travel cross country, we deliver the stuff." Who knows what it is, possibly drugs. And Logan goes along with it just so he can pay rent. So they go cross-country journey. So they come across everything from symbiote-infused T-Rex. That's right, Venom has now become a T-Rex because dinosaurs are common now because they've been imported from the Savage Lands and they're kind of a novelty pet, and then they got out of control, reproduced again. So they're pretty common occurrence across.
That's where it came from. I didn't realize
the Savage Lands
came from. I was it's just assumed that 50 years ago dinosaurs were
just random fucking it's one of those deals. And then so Logan eventually makes a pit stop with Hawkeye in one of the last bastions of civilization, which is pretty spread out far in between, where we see that a version of Ultron 8, is basically playing robot surrogate daddy to Hawkeye's grandkid.
This is where I lost it.
Or Hawkeye's kid.
Ultron is like the domestic house dad at this
point.
Dude,
I know, yeah.
And they can't put this into the movie Logan because it would cheapen the impact that Ultron had in the previous movie.
Absolutely. Nobody would ever go back to any further revenue that would come out from any Age of Ultron merchandise would just be nerd.
Right, yeah.
Because Ultron's so big and bad, and he's a fucking house dad.
Yeah, that always cracked me up. But.
So the plot goes everywhere, and so they go on, they finish the delivery, which it turns out is a batch of super soldier serum that Hawkeye was going to give to a resistance to the Red Skull Empire that was now in place. Turns out that was all ruse. Red Skull knew it was happening all along. Hawkeye gets killed. They think they killed Logan. They bring them to Red Skull, who is wearing Cap's suit, almost like a ritualistic skin from the enemy that he wears, just because Red Skull's all high up on himself. And during this entire time before that, we do figure out in a flashback why Logan will never pop his claws again, because it gets to the point where he is the stubborn pacifist. It's almost annoying how much he's unwilling to pop his claws.
Yeah, it goes 4 issues without explaining it.
Yeah, he's more than happy to get his ass kicked and or die without popping his claws. But then we finally realize why. Back in the day, in this universe, all the big players, supervillains, they finally get together and they do a coordinated attack on every superhero team that's around at that time. And it turns out, they assault the X-Mansion. Wolverine and Jubilee are there along with the rest of the standard X-Men cast. And it looks as though Wolverine is just going to town on every single person coming. At the end of it, we see Mysterio pop out of fucking nowhere. It's like, I am Mysterio. I've misled you this entire time. Logan's like, what? And he looks at the ground all around, and when finally the facade has been lifted, he had massacred every single member of the X-Men in that time. He is around, his friends and allies are surrounding him, all dead, cut up, and he's just traumatized. He's horrified from what has just transpired.
Yeah, so that kind of explains where the X-Men have been like this entire time, and
why in the ground.
And also why Wolverine was, a pacifist to an extreme degree.
So going from there, he eventually takes down the Red Skull, decapitates his ass with Cap's shield. It's awesome. That's when he finally, okay, I've had enough. Then he suits up in what remains in Red Skull's trophy room. He suits up with what remains of Iron Man's armor, hightails it back to his home so he can pay off the rent. He's got plenty of cash from the deal that went sour. So Wolverine comes back to his home. He's got the money in hand, ready to pay the rent. Well, it turns out the Hulk gang got tired of waiting. They got bored, and they decided to slaughter his family while he was away. Well, on top of the entire crap cake that is Logan's existence in this universe up to this point, that is the straw that broke the camel's back, and he's about to go all slash fest over every single member of the Hulk family, and that's a lot of inbred hillbillies. Well, that gets the attention of Big Daddy Bruce Banner. He comes out. He's not even hulked up yet, but he's smacking Wolverine around like a rag doll, which is impressive.
In his old man body.
Yeah, in his old man body. He must have absorbed so much radiation that he's just strong as Banner. That's bad. So when he finally hulks out, I mean, he is just a monster.
He looks a lot bigger than normal.
Much bigger. Yeah. It must have been just all the nuclear fallout. They allude to a nuclear war, nuclear conflicts happening. So it wouldn't be too surprising if the Hulk absorbed all that excess radiation and just gained some mass because of it. So hulks out. It's terrifying. Goes toe-to-toe with Wolverine, takes a bite out of him, then swallows him whole, eats him because, he's a freaking cannibal, much like the rest of his family. And so hours later, when he has one of the few remaining Hulk offspring come by, claiming he has stomach cramps he's had for the last few hours, his son's shocked. He's like, that's not a good sign. Oh, what's the big deal? We've eaten all of our enemies before. But yeah, Dad, but none of them had healing factors. So on cue, Wolverine claws his way out of Hulk, spewing his blood and guts everywhere. He looks like he's just in awful pain right before he dies, up to the second before he dies, and it's great. It is just the final payoff that Wolverine deserved in this comic.
Imagine a Capri Sun, but you put nitroglycerin, dynamite, or C4 inside, and just watch it go kablooey. That's literally what the panel looks like.
With a hint of green food coloring for good measure.
Right. So there you go, and that's exactly why they could not stick to the source material in Logan.
Nope.
Because Old Man Logan was a violent, incestuous, disastrous, over-the-top.
There's a lot of taboo stuff that goes down.
A lot of stuff that you could not, even with an R rating, you probably couldn't get away with.
No, absolutely. No, it's impossible.
In the source material.
Highly recommend you read it, though. As wonderful as my description may have been, you should go read it yourself and just look at the visuals. It's a phenomenal story.
Yeah, and absolutely. So it's Wolverine, the 2003 run. It
starts at number 66.
66 through 72.
And then it has a big, giant size issue that's separate from that. Right. So it's about 8 issues total.
And I'd highly recommend it. Even I'm not as huge of a comic dude as Brad, but even at a 0 level reading, it was a pretty fantastic story because, like I alluded to earlier, I love Mad Max, and a lot of this post-apocalyptic imagery that it invoked really reminded me of those types of vibes and energy. So.
And the art style is the same from the team that did Civil War. Whether or not you love the storyline from it, I love the art and I can't get enough of it.